Idaho bill will make trans medical treatment punishable by life in prison. A bill approved last week by Idaho's House of Representatives adds medical care for transgender youth to a section of Idaho law already on the books that bans female genital mutilation. It adds language making it a felony either to perform gender-affirming surgery on transgender youth or to provide medication meant to block or delay the onset of puberty. The new language also makes either providing a child with gender-affirming care or transporting a child across state lines for such care a felony, punishable with up to life in prison. Representative Bruce Skog, the lead sponsor, said, quote, "This bill is about protecting children, which is a legitimate state interest. We do that all of the time. We need to stop sterilizing and mutilating children under the age of 18. This bill is not about the adults or adult trans community at all. It's about the children," end quote. I call bullshit.
No,
But you didn't mention what medical school did Representative
Exactly.
graduate from?
Did he get his GED or?
And for clarity, your observation, just to provide a clarity, the American Medical Association completely disagrees with the representative's position. American Medical Association says your observation is flatly not true. Flatly. There's no gray area. It's flatly not true.
And what's even more upsetting is that there's so many bills like this that are steeped in A, opinion and discrimination and straight up ignorance. Just like you said, you asked the question of, okay, what type of medical degree does this man have to say this? And then equate it to, we just care about the children. I'm going to get on my little pedestal really quickly. You don't care about the children. You care about making a point and having your name out there. If you cared about the children, what you would do is look into what is the standard of transgender healthcare for children and how can we make it better? For me, this kind of goes not exactly on par, but it definitely does equate to the trans sports bans that folks have been doing. It's, oh, we want to make things better for girls that are doing sports. It's like, you want to make things better? Look into the sports themselves.
Right.
Women do not have the same exact, I'm not going to say same exact rights, but what happens, they don't have the access. They don't have the same equipment. They don't have the same practice schedules.
They don't have the same pay.
Exactly, the same support as a whole. So it's like, if that's what you want to do, you want to help the children, look at what's already in place, try to figure out how to better it. Don't just say, oh, we're going to get rid of this.
It's the same thing, again, that we're seeing here in Florida about protecting your children. When we come from a state that wants to cut funding for education, not provide, support for lower income families with children, to not extend, Medicaid to families who need health care. You're not protecting children. You're doing everything you can to attack children who need help. You're using these bills to get headlines and to get, right-wing supporters to fund your campaign so you can stay in office, and it needs to stop.
Well, last week, Republicans were all about, parental rights. It's the parental rights bill. Well, now you want to keep children prisoners in their body. You want to make the parents prisoners in the state and possibly in prison, and put doctors in prison. This is old school, but remember the doctor's purge of the 1940s, 1950s in Russia, in the Soviet Union. Stalin literally rounded up doctors who he didn't like. I know that's extreme.
Immediately, 30% of the radicals would say, don't quote history or science to me because we don't believe in history or science. That's what their response to what you just said. Absolutely true, but they would reject it. You have to, I think we get it right here in our conversation, all of your points actually. Why are they doing this? You have to ask yourself, we're watching radical legislation. Why are they doing this? Well, first off, I think Idaho is trying to contend with the two heavyweights in radical crazy thinking, Florida and Texas. And Idaho finally shot a cannon off of going, oh, well, we'll compete with Texas and Florida with this bill. Why are they doing it? It doesn't have anything to do with parents. It doesn't have anything to do with children. It doesn't have anything to do with protecting. They're so radical because they think this culture war issue will get them elected.
Absolutely.
Back into the Senate majority, back into the House majority, and back into the White House in 24.
The scary thing is it might work.
And
It just might start.
if we talk about, in the LGBTQ community, if we talk about anything else, if that conclusion is right, it seems right, it feels right, our gut says, I think that's right, our focusing on anything else is of no value. Because your point is what the conclusion is going to be.
Right.
They're going to take the House and the Senate, and they're going to take the White House, and then all bets are off. Donald Trump's probably not going to be the person that does it, and we're going to have a whole greater brand of crazy. And by the way, he may be coming from Florida also, just a different Floridian in 24. And remember, we've talked about it. Don't say gay in Florida in students on a non-existent problem for kindergarten through third grade. Then Texas says that DeSantis's brother in Texas, Governor Abbott, says we are going to prosecute parents of trans children that do anything on medical needs, including hormone replacement, and we are going to prosecute them for child abuse. I'm thinking George Bush and John McCain again. And now in Idaho, we are going to elevate medical protection from a healthcare doctor to the same level as felony crime like murder.
It's ridiculous.
Rape. I mean, it's horrible.
What's going on?
It's
It's
insane.
going on to win an election. That's what we're watching. This is incredibly
It just
serious.
ticks me off. I'm just going to add really quickly. There's a part in this where it says that not only does it have to do with, hormone replacement therapy or even hormone blockers, but also, and this is where, like you said, that beachhead where they could get something else in. If the new language also makes providing a child with gender affirming care an issue, that could also include therapy, which in this community we know is needed, especially for our folks who are transgender.
Yeah, that is frightening.
Like that is what scares me even more about this.
And one final comment, because I know Cindy is aching
just
to get on to
waiting.
the next story,
I'm sorry.
or to move us on. The most distressing thing on this is I know all five of us are advocating in these areas and trying to raise the bell, trying to raise awareness. But seriously, I'm so concerned that the majority of the LGBTQ community are either not paying attention, or
care.
God forbid worse, they're not really caring about what's
Yeah,
happening.
they don't care. It
And
doesn't
And if
affect
that's the
them.
case,
Yeah, because it's kids, it's not adults.
roaches for raid. I'm just saying.
Right.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ